This week's episode is brought to you by Gamage Under a Blanket, full of hot air.
We are proud to be supported by Sonoma's Cadaver Mints. For when your corpse has naughty breath, you need Cadaver Mints. That's Sonoma's Cadaver Mints. Right off the I-5. Anyway.
I have nothing to top that. I was trying really hard to come up with it the second you said cadaver mints. I was like, what could I do? What could I do? What could I do? And my brain just went, this is so good. Oh my god. Oh my god. I have a good opening conversation topic for you.
Sure.
Did you know that raccoons have been confusing the Cybertrucks as dumpsters?
That's good.
My sister was reading the story to me this morning and I fucking lost it. I wrote it down so that I wouldn't forget to tell you.
Yeah, our local raccoon, Notch, has been missing for a couple months now, and apparently she was just in the Cybertruck. That makes sense.
Yeah, it tracks. She hopped into a Cybertruck, went on a road trip, and she just got back.
So was that all we were going to talk about? It's been a pretty busy weekend. A lot of shit went down.
Yeah, no, I just want to talk about raccoons and Cybertrucks. No, a lot of things happened.
Yeah.
Assassination attempts happened.
Apparently the dude that did it was a registered Republican, and he was crazy religious, and he just did this big long Instagram tweet whatever thing about how he's going to get rid of the Epstein pedophiles of the world, and I mean, top of the list. Well, so that happened, but then I guess there was a Tenacious D concert. And,
yeah, what happened with
Kyle,
that? Because I saw the response from it, but I have no context for why Jack Black said what he said.
So, apparently Kyle said it.
No, I meant Jack Black posted a response that he wasn't going to do Tenacious the rest of the tour, and I was like, what happened?
Well, apparently future projects in general. I guess Kyle said something about good about the assassination, and I mean they say this shit all the time. It's not new. And I think it's entirely performative because Jack Black has done this shit before, but all of a sudden now he's like, oh no, I don't agree with that. Those things that you're saying. A lot of people think that it's because he's more political now. He's doing
more
shows
involved,
for Biden
or
some shit or whatever. So and also he's the voice of Bowser, so it's really bad for his PR. So they probably just said, hey, you need to cut ties at least temporary.
Yeah, I was gonna say with how cancel culture is nowadays. I feel like that whole immediate PR concern is a lot more rampant.
I'm just saying that it's not very tenacious of Tenacious D.
It's not very D of Tenacious D.
Honestly, I'd rate their tenacity a C-.
I feel like it's been going steadily downhill, to be honest. I don't follow Tenacious D very well, but it seems to have been on that trend.
I've never really been a big fan. I like the movie that they did, but their music has always just been a little too, I don't know.
Tenacious?
No.
D?
Apparently not. They just break up the first fucking...
the first argument they have. They're done.
Well, no, a lot of people were confused because it is an ongoing joke. Where there's even a song called Kyle Quit the Band. It's been an ongoing joke. So a lot of people were like, is this real or not?
What is happening?
Apparently it is. 2 people did die at the assassination attempt, so that sucks.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. Have you seen all of the I like how I said unfortunate, that's yeah, 2 people died. No, that does really suck. That is awful. I'm glazing over it.
We don't condone violence or assassinations at all.
We just also don't talk about serious stuff.
Doing the right channels about getting rid of the bad people of the world.
Yeah.
I know it's kind of a fixed system, but you gotta be above it.
Yeah, well,
I
and
say
just
out loud.
Murdering people, that it's that whole 2 negatives don't make a positive unless you're multiplying.
Fact checker corrected me. It's Kyle Gass, not Gage. I thought it was it's Cage, isn't it? Is his name?
No, I like Gas.
Kyle Gass.
He should change his name to Kyle Diesel. It'll fit the Tenacious D vibe more. Still a type
Yeah,
of
but
gas.
then you're like associated with Vin Diesel inadvertently.
I miss cousin. I miss adopted cousin Kyle Diesel. How many people do you think have changed their last names to Diesel because they liked Vin Diesel so much? It's at least one. I know
At,
that. It's gotta at
statistically,
least be at least one.
yeah, our buddy Greg Diesel now.
I'm gonna change my last name.
I mean, his old last name was Hitler, so like he kind of had a pass.
What?
I'm making this guy up, Rachel. How are you fucking
I thought
so
you meant
slow?
no. I thought you meant Vin Diesel. That's what I thought you were saying. Is his last name used to be
Yes.
Hitler, and I was like, that would be some insane lore for
Check
Vin Diesel.
Wikipedia. It
Vin
was
Hitler.
Vin Hitler
It
at
fits.
one point.
Think of the name
Vincent
Vin Hitler.
Hitler.
It sounds German enough. Vin Hitler changed his name to Vin Diesel.
Anyway, we're a podcast.
We're not a very good one. Welcome. Mostly Gamage carries the team, to be honest.
I mean, there's definitely some glue to like seep into the cracks. Rachel's the glue seeping into my crack, and that is how brick is made.
What?
Anyway,
Welcome to We Build That Brick at Home. I'm on brand Rachel.
and I'm on brand Gamage, and this is our off-brand podcast. It's the only podcast that has the answer to a never-ending story.
Each week we play Russian roulette with our success and spin a field of and spin a wheel and figure out if Rachel knows how to talk that week. And then we find out the genre of the next week's podcast.
This last week we rolled the wheel and it hit pop culture, which I think we're just gonna call movie from now on.
Yeah, I think we
I don't think we've ever
rarely
spoke about a book. We don't do music because we touch on that every week.
We've done
We don't
video
talk about
games.
celebrities. We could start like dropping hot goss on celebs.
Yeah, I mean,
Did you hear
I'd like
about
to
Selena
leave it
Gomez?
open. I'd like to leave it open to the hot goss, because there's Gosling is still in the world. Know what
Yeah,
you
get
do.
that hot goss just all over my
Yeah.
face, dripping down my beard, getting it sticky. Anyway.
I gotta go.
So we're doing movie today.
We're now
movie.
uncomfortably doing a movie, actually. Yeah, we're talking about the NeverEnding Story today.
Yes.
Which, I gotta be honest, after watching it, it fucking felt never-ending. And the fact that they immediately hinted at a second one felt like too much.
I'm so glad that you brought that up. I tried to hate on this movie for the sake of comedy. Like I gave myself an amnesia pill for like a couple hours so that I forget everything. I barely even know that I'm alive. Like I have to be hooked up to like a breathing machine in order just to function. And I watched this movie like with a blank slate, hoping to like pull out more comedy critiques. And I had a hard time. It's just such a fucking good fucking movie.
While watching this movie, realized that I have never seen this movie. And I definitely missed the bandwagon the first time around because
The 80s, you missed that?
Yeah, I just miss the cult classic wave of NeverEnding Story because watching it as like an adult human being that had to force myself to sit down and watch it was just going, the pacing in this film, which is how I feel about
The pacing
almost
is
every
great.
movie in the 80s. No, it is
I mean,
not.
I feel like it is.
It gives you no time to get invested in any of the fucking characters.
That's why it's good. It's
Except for
like,
a little
okay,
bit
this
the little
happened, and
kid.
then this happened, and then this happened, and then it's over, and you're like, oh, thank Christ.
Oh,
It's
look,
efficient.
I'm sorry. If you have ADHD, this is the movie for you
No,
because it's never consistently doing fucking anything.
This movie is efficient because it's based on a German novel.
That makes so much more sense. This was just all they got out of the translation.
Yeah. I like doing these kinds of movies where I like it and you hate it because I'm such a cynical, jaded person and you're not.
I
and
know,
just
and
to
it-
like have me experience joy and you just fucking hate fuck it is a hilarious juxtaposition.
It does not happen very often, but for whatever reason,
It
the
happens
80s just
every
brings
movie.
it out in me.
We haven't done a single movie you liked.
I don't know if that's true. I liked Willy Wonka, but that wasn't from the 80s.
I mean, it's based on a fucking movie from the 80s,
There's
70s.
gotta
Whatever.
be some other movies that I've liked. I liked the cheese one, the very first one we did. That shit was
The
wild.
box trolls.
That was an insane film. It also wasn't from the 80s, so there's that.
Well, I mean, I like this movie and you don't, so that might actually create some discussion, which
Hopefully.
is good.
Yeah.
Let's start off with some basic facts.
I have the
Based
first.
on-
Wait. I have the first basic fact.
Here we go.
It's spelled never ending, one word, but the E is capitalized. Never ending story. That's it. That's my first fact. Go for it.
Is it really?
Yes, I swear to God, when the film started, it is spelled never ending with one word, and they capitalized the E.
Well, anyway, it is it is a translated thing, so whoever decided to do whatever is thing, because it is, like I said, based on a 1979 German novel, Die Unendliche Geschichte by Michael Ende, and translated into English as The NeverEnding Story by Ralph Mannheim. Ralph Mannheim, that's a dope name.
I feel like I know that name. Has he written other things?
The original guy or the translatee guy?
Was it translated by Ralph Mannheim or written by Ralph Mannheim?
Well, I said it and you weren't listening, so I don't know. How am I the one with ADHD here?
Dude, I didn't say I didn't have
I just said it. Ralph Mannheim is the one that translated it to English.
Yeah, I looked up his name. You want to know what the first thing that came up?
NeverEnding Story?
Ralph Mannheim, Mein Kampf.
Oh.
Yeah, apparently he translated that too.
I see. Okay.
A very
anyway.
different novel than the NeverEnding Story.
So, 1984 is when this movie came out. It's considered a classic.
This milk.
Did I say milk?
For like a brief second, yeah. 1984 is when this milk movie came out.
It's about milk. It's about cows getting milked.
It's about
just 2
a
hours
milky
of that.
dragon.
Everybody
Close enough.
was like kind of confused about it, but then it turns out that it was actually a smut film about cows, so it ended kind of weird. Anyway, 1984, considered a classic to millions, except for Rachel, and honestly is forgotten. The budget for this movie is $60 million, made $100 million in the box office, which is positive. Good. That's good, right?
I'm trying to figure out.
I don't know what box office is.
I'm trying to figure out what other movies had a $60 million budget, because I would like to compare them and see like how similar or not similar they are in quality, I guess.
Now, reminder that this is 1984. This movie looked fucking tits. It
No,
looked
no,
incredible.
it was like I'm curious because they did it well.
Well, apparently, this is the next fun fact. It's the most expensive film produced outside of the U.S. and Soviet Union at its release, because it was filmed and made in Germany, because Germany.
The movie was made in Germany?
That's right.
Damn. Didn't know.
Apparently, one of the facts I have is that the character Atreyu was actually green in the book. And they did attempt to paint him green, but it didn't work out because, like, the filming in Germany was during the hottest summer in 25 years. So, like, it just wasn't working out and it was super uncomfortable. It took a long time and it just melted.
So he was a droopy green and they weren't into
Droopy green. Yeah. Almost 5 million Germans saw this movie in theaters, which is quite the feat because, I mean, Germans don't really go out to see anything.
They just don't leave their houses.
Well, I mean, like, the stereotype for Germans is all about efficiency, and sometimes, like, why would I go be merry and see a movie when I could be doing something productive? Like, it's
when I could be efficient in
culture thing.
vacuuming.
Vacuuming?
Yeah, I don't know. I was picking a chore that wouldn't work out with watching a movie, and vacuuming
I
is one
thought
of
that
those.
you were about to drop something like Germans invented the vacuum cleaner, but I guess
They
not.
fucking might have. They've invented a lot of things.
Apparently, there was also a rideable Falkor in Germany, the big dragon.
That's incredible.
Atreyu is like the main-ish character's name, is derived from Atreus of Greek mythology. There's the little boy from God of War for you newbies. Apparently, House Atreides from Dune is also based on Atreus.
Yep.
Apparently, the writer Michael Ende had hoped for this film to be directed by Akira Kurosawa, which is insane. That would have been a killer movie, but sure. He doesn't like this movie. Apparently, the change of the very last scene that was added into the movie was like enough to like piss him off because it was so different from the book.
The adding in of the kid flying around on the dragon?
The dragon coming out to the real world. Spoilers,
Gotcha.
by the way, for this fucking 30-year-old movie. At the very end, Bastian rides the dragon outside of the world and scares bullies with it, and the writer fucking hated that because he's like, it defeats the entire purpose. Like, this whole thing is supposed to be the land of imagination in the book, in your mind. It's not supposed to fucking transcend out into the real world.
Yeah, well, and it's
Which,
supposed
yeah.
to be like where all of our imagination goes, so it's supposed to be relatively contained in some sort of ethereal plane.
The guy that plays Atreyu is Noah Hathaway, who went on to play Harry Potter Jr.
Okay,
in Troll.
I was gonna ask because I saw Noah Hathaway in the opening credits and put Anne's dad. Is he related to Anne Hathaway in any way?
I don't know. I just know that he went on to play Harry Potter Jr., which is a big thing to me because that just tells me that J.K. Rowling has no sense of originality at all.
What
That's
the fuck
fun.
is Harry Potter Jr.?
Harry Potter Jr. was the character in Troll, 1986. It's a bad movie. We'll probably do it sometime.
Oh, I see. He came before the pop culture icon Harry Potter.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay. This is like a senior, junior, junior, senior
Yes.
generational issue.
Movie directed by Wolfgang Peterson. He's known for... I didn't look it up. The movie starts. It's opening credits, but it's okay because it's NeverEnding Story, which is a fucking crazy good song. If you don't like it, well then, I don't know what to tell you. You became a fucking accountant and you're boring, and I'm sorry, Rachel.
I do have a question for you. Did that song happen for the movie, or was the movie was the movie inspired by the song, but obviously that's not true since it's by a book.
Yeah, the song was made for the movie by Limahl, who's best known for his band Kajagoogoo. You might recognize the song Too Shy. You know the song.
I probably
You're
don't.
too shy, hush, hush, eye to eye. You don't know that song?
No, could you
Whatever.
sing the whole thing for me?
Yeah, sure. Beth Anderson provided the vocals for the song. This song is playing. There's a thematic cloudscape. This movie, every scene is very pretty. Hey, Rachel, do you like prog rock at all? Progressive rock?
Yeah, why?
Well, I was expecting a no because, like, this movie is a fucking prog rock dream.
No, I liked the soundtrack. I actually noted I miss that whooshing synth sound in music.
No, not the song, but like the movie itself is like, I have in here several times that like, oh, the landscape is just a prog rock album cover for sure.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. I mean, it doesn't. Yeah, no, I mean I like that also. So, or that style of music.
Fun fact: the German version of this film didn't have that theme song or any of the techno pop elements. It just had like an orchestral score instead.
I refer back to your statement of the Germans are about efficiency. They're like, we can't waste time with this.
Get the violins.
The credits will only be 30 seconds.
The song was actually a flop on release until the home video release, and then it blew up. It was also featured on Stranger Things and saw another spike in popularity, as Stranger Things does for fucking everything. But I'm not talking about Stranger Things.
I've yet to watch that.
Barrett Oliver is Bastian, the small character Bastian. He wakes up in bed next to an open book because he's a fucking nerd. We then go to the kitchen. He struggles to open a jar of jam because he's 8. And then there's also... I fixated on this big-ass block of butter on the table that looks like a brick of cheese.
Okay,
like it looked like a big thing of mozzarella fucking cheese.
I fixated on something else during this scene.
What did you fixate on?
So he's struggling to open the jar of jam while his like aloof business father is making himself a smoothie in the background. But he's filling a blender with like 5 ounces of liquid. and then just blending it. Like there's nothing fucking in it. And then you see him pour it into his cup, but the blender is clearly still like has a lot of shit in it. So it's like he poured a sip.
Well, this is before like the gym shaker cups existed, so he didn't have that.
Well, I think
Back
he poured
then,
it.
back then you had to blend everything. Like if you had if you wanted to put creamer in your coffee, you had to put both that shit in the blender to make it
Well,
homogeneous.
and clearly that's how he was making his orange juice because he just put the orange juice in there and blended it.
Hey, it had pulp in it, and he wanted it extra fine. Yeah, so
Wait, before you continue, my note on this character who never fucking appears again was unsure of their relationship at this point, but he seems like an absentee father, and I refer back to my statement of who never appears in this story again.
yeah, I mean, there's a good portion of the movie where Bastion's just missing. He's not at home, and the father like doesn't. We don't pan to him or anything where he's like, "Huh, wonder where Bastion is." Whatever.
Yeah, no, 90% of this film, this kid is not where he is supposed to be in life, which means his father would have been alerted, and
physically,
it shows
emotionally,
none of that.
So, Bastion brings up a dream he had about his mom, who died an X amount of time ago. Dad's kind of a dick about it because single working father, we each have responsibilities. He then scolds Bastion about drawing horses in his math book, and then he's corrected because they're actually unicorns.
Oh,
and that's an argument.
Notice that.
Well, that's because like you decide if you like a movie 30 seconds in, and then you just check out mostly, and you just occasionally like put down a note of something you see.
You're not wrong. I'll start really strong too because I have like a really vivid description of this entire scene, and then I never do this for the rest of the film.
I mean, I love this movie. I like I said, I tried not to, and I think it's because I'm able to like kind of put my mind in the year of. So like it's 1984, and this movie's just magical and just a feat.
Yeah, well, and that's why I said I think I just missed the bandwagon because I'm just watching it as an adult that is mostly going, "Wow, I had to make time to watch this."
Yeah, Rachel pulled up her computer and turned it on and went, "This isn't Avatar. This looks bad.
This isn't James Cameron's Blue People."
And then she made a TikTok for a couple of hours, and then
yeah, but the TikTok was only 3 seconds, but it did take me 3 hours to make.
That checks out, yeah.
Yeah. No, I love this scene because absentee father hears that his son misses his mom, and he just like uses that conversation to segue into telling him he's not doing well in math, needs to stop drawing horses, lectures him about not trying out for the swim team or not doing good enough while he tried out.
That's important.
And then threatens, like he's like, "And you want those horse riding lessons, but if you don't get your shit together, you're not getting to do that either." And basically just follows up his "I miss my mom" with "I'm disappointed in you." I also like that when he's done, he's like, "This was nice. We should do it again sometime. Goodbye."
How about every day? Because this is your fucking job.
Yes. This is your child.
So,
no, that guy sucks.
Bastion leaves. He's immediately accosted by 3 bullies because this is the 80s after all.
Mm-hmm.
They chase him and eventually catch him and then throw him into a dumpster. They call him a chicken, and then he climbs out of the dumpster only to be chased by the bullies again immediately. I don't know why
that's fucked
they
up.
didn't just, like, they could have just removed the dumpster scene and just had him running into the bookstore.
Well, no,
Spoiler,
they had
he
to
goes
keep
into a bookstore.
the dumpster scene for the end of the movie to have a dumpster scene.
Oh, I get it.
Otherwise, it wouldn't matter. But, they couldn't just possibly hide in a random fucking dumpster and feel degraded. It has to have significance.
It has to be the same.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Bastion runs into a cluttered bookstore. The bookstore has an owner who's reading this big book and immediately shames Bastion, saying, "The video arcade is down the street, and we just have these rectangular things called books here," which goes to show that no matter what year it is, old people are going to be shaming young people about any sort of
activity they're interested in.
Technology.
Because even when he says, he goes to clap back on the old man and tells him, "I have 186 books at home. How dare you?" The old man goes, "Those are just comic books. Nothing's good enough for me."
Yeah, he's such a fucking gatekeeper. How
No,
can you
100%.
gatekeep books?
Yeah, it's not until he starts saying, I've read Treasure Island and all of these other things in Tarzan. Then he goes, whoa, 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 whoa. Now I'm on board. You're cool.
Yeah, but then he's like, well, you can't handle this one.
No, that was
And Bast-
100%. He was trying to reverse psychology, that kid.
well, yeah.
He's like,
I
this
mean,
book is dangerous, which gave very Narnia vibes. Don't
yeah,
take it. Don't read it. I
but it's
suddenly have
only
to
a
go in the
story.
other room.
Yeah, the phone rings, and he like hides it under a newspaper, but in front of him, like it's literally
Yeah.
like there's a desk between them with like newspaper, and he like puts it under the newspaper, like he won't find it here. So Bastian pulls away the newspaper to reveal The NeverEnding Story. It's a large leather-bound book with like a big snake emblem, and immediately steals it and like leaves a note saying "Sawi." But you do notice that the bookseller is like he looks and sees that the book is gone and Bastian's gone, and he like grins like this
Yeah,
was the
he's
plan
hyped.
the whole time.
Indeed.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, he's kind of an asshole.
Anyway, Bastian runs and he has the book under his sweatshirt and not in his book bag that he's carrying. That's clearly like empty because we could tell it's not heavy at all.
Yep. This makes more sense, though.
He's late to school and he looks into the classroom and discovers that there's a math test and he's like, no. So he goes to the weird school attic that looks like a haunted house.
Yeah, I would like to ask
There's
you.
skeletons and skulls and cobwebs.
I was sitting there watching this going, what fucking room would this be? Like, what Harry Potter ass class was up here? They were like, oh, the divination teacher died, so we just abandoned
don't bring
this
up Harry
floor.
Potter.
Well,
you know better. It's
it's
one of our
nonsense
we have
floor.
4 rules on this podcast, and you break 2 of them constantly.
What are the other 2?
Oh, I edit the fucking audio clips. I can hear you passing gas constantly, bitch. Don't fucking pretend you're not.
I don't try to pretend that I'm not. I actually try to
I have
sneak
to-
them in
I-
at inopportune times.
I have
make
to
you work
fucking
harder.
and every recording is different too, so I have to hone in on the frequency and fucking clip it out with a notch filter. It's hard.
Look, I do it on purpose. I'm gonna be upfront with you. I do it to fuck with you.
My favorite thing about this scene though is that he like goes to the attic and then there's like this broken fire alarm box where the keys are kept. I don't know why, but he grabs them and then goes into the attic and then looks around like he's never been here before.
Yeah, like he didn't. He goes here like it's his favorite spot and then explores it as if undiscovered.
Like, oh, he
Whoa, look at this.
drags a gross ass futon over and opens up the book to read.
This
and
kid
we're
does a
immediately
lot of weird shit in this attic throughout this film.
oh yeah. Yeah, I'm with it. I mean, it is goofy. It is a kids movie. It's a German kids movie, but it is fucking goofy regardless. PE Matt fact checker is correcting me. I even wrote down PE Matt and then crossed it out and put down futon because it looks like a gross fucking futon.
Is a PE mat not just a gross fucking futon in the making?
You know, that is the argument I had internally and the futon won, and that's why I put it down.
I can agree with that.
So we're immediately transported to a dark forest filled with fog, centered in on a giant snail, a small-statured man dressed like Willy Wonka, played by Deep Roy, by the way, who plays the Oompa Loompa in Tim Burton's
I was gonna say
Wonka.
who looks
Fun
like
fact.
an Oompa Loompa but is dressed like Willy Wonka.
Yeah,
I'm glad you said that because the entire time I was watching, I was like, this man is an Oompa Loompa, and that's why that was hitting my brain like that. Is because he factually just was that.
He
role.
absolutely is. A fantastic actor, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Worth noting that every time he opens his mouth and words come out, they are not his. They are somebody else's. There's also a big sleeping bat and some goblin-looking guy. And suddenly a giant rock golem rides up with his rock steamroller bicycle.
I noted at this point that this shit is already an acid trip.
Yeah, I mean, everything in this movie is original. Like, this isn't like typical
this is
copy
full
cut paste
creativity
fucking
here.
yeah. Everything here is like nothing you've ever seen before, which is refreshing.
Indeed. Yeah, I will say the creativity is impressive in this movie.
Also, the fact that everything is practical effects is great.
Is
Like
really fucking cool.
it might you might look at it and be like, well, that's goofy. But if it were CG, it would look fucking terrible.
It would look goddamn awful.
Yes. By the way, like CG at this point in time is like Lawnmower Man status. So
yeah,
that would have been real bad.
I do like that there's a particular period of time where animatronic like face makeup era of time when we got really into actual effects. There was a lot of moisture added to them. And definitely in the time frame of moist creatures, which
and
it's
just
laugh.
because of like how it was finished, like the it's like wax or resin or something that goes over it to give it this wet effect, and it always looked like so fucking drenched.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it gave a lot of character that like CG's just missing.
Oh yeah, no, it just adds a lot of texture to what's going on.
Like if you think about it, unless a character is specifically wet in CG, they're never moist. They're always dry looking.
They're never moist.
You know what I'm talking about? Like
in
the first
but
Avatar
now I
movie,
need to pay more attention to things.
It's because like water animation is fucking hard. It either looks like a slime monster or it's too wavy. Like it's hard to make in CG. So I understand why like you'd want to. I don't want to animate sweat. It sucks. Yeah. Anyway, so the rock golem sits down at the party camp and begins snacking on some limestone.
Oh, this is my favorite fucking thing.
And he treats it like wine. I love it.
Yes. So he just starts sniffing the rock. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, this man, this rock golem is my home slice because he's sitting there reviewing it like it is a fine wine, and he is a sommelier, and it is wonderful.
Because for the first time in 10 years is like your geology background is actually somewhat relevant.
Yes, exactly. He said limestone, and I've come alive.
Ah, yes.
A rock.
Limestone, first invented in 1784 by William Lime.
And it is indeed a vintage year.
The goblin is wondering why he's here before learning that he's a rock biter. A rock biter is a species of giant rock people that eat rocks.
Shocker.
Kind of self-explanatory.
My favorite
He chomps on... Yep.
Oh, I was going to say my favorite part of him eating the rocks is that the crumbs from the rocks are falling all over the tiny moist campfire companions and like
you call them crumbs, but they are assuredly boulders falling from the sky.
Yeah, there's a size difference between the rock golem and them.
Everyone is almost squished, like
yeah, multiple times because he just keeps snacking.
Yeah, he's talking about his home back north and the rocks there and how they were good and how his home is all gone now, like just vanished. Not that the lake drained or that there's a giant hole, nothing. It's nothing. It's the absence of thing. And the nothing got bigger and bigger. We learn that the goblin is a night hob, and he will be referred to as Night Hob. I don't think they ever say what Deep Roy's character's name is, but it is Teeny Weeny. That's what he's credited as. I'm not
joking. Oh, that's fantastic.
He looks so young here.
He is very youthful in this film. He has got to be like 20s, 30s. I think 30s. If I had to make a guess.
and I mean like with his condition too, like being youthful and having like youthful face, he has like baby chunky cheeks too.
Yeah, he looks young.
So, the Rockbiter is being sent by his people to the Ivory Tower to speak to the Empress. It's revealed that everyone else here are doing the exact same thing. Teeny Weenies sent by the
Teeny Weenies.
Teeny Weensters. And the Night Hob is sent by the Night Hobbers.
The Teeny Weenuses, actually.
It's Weeneye. It's Weeneye.
Sorry, Teeny Weeneyes. Yeah, all of their shit's disappearing, so they're all going to make their maiden voyage to the Empress.
And then they're like, well, what are we waiting for? And then Teeny Weeny jumps on his snail, which is a racing snail, by the way.
Yes. And then the knob guy paraglides a bat.
What
the fuck is he called again? They're only in the film for like a total of 5 minutes.
Yeah, he's Night Hob.
Night Hob, sorry.
He's a Night Hob, but he's referred to as Night Hob, so
yes,
whatever.
sorry. The Night Hob paraglides a bat.
Yeah, which is pretty fucking dope.
It's
the bat,
badass.
by the way, like constantly falls asleep in the sky, and he's got to like fucking elbow it.
It's magical.
The rock biter is taking an extra minute to like finish his rock when he mentions that the nothing is coming. And then it's they all go. They see the ivory tower in the horizon, and it
got
is most
like very Eye of Saruman's mom vibes,
but like in a bright way.
That's why I said
happy.
Mom. Like it's like some benevolent sort of motherly character version of Eye of Saruman.
Yeah, it's the most 80s fantasy prog rock looking album cover you've ever seen.
Yes, it is.
Then we're immediately teleported to the top of the ivory tower where Confucius steps out of a shell to greet everyone. His actual name is Chiron, and that's how you do a name joke. You do the name, haha, funny laughs, real name, moving on.
See, the problem, Gamage, is when I call people not their real name, it's because I don't learn until like 90% of the way through the film what the fuck their name is.
To be fair, in your defense,
they don't ever say
most of the time they
name,
ever
they?
Fucking say it. No, they don't. It's in the book, and if you read the book, you know. If you go to IMDb, you know as well. But otherwise, for a layman, his name is never spoken out loud. And you're like, all right.
Yeah, he just exists.
Yep. I love this scene. Like, there's so many different kinds of creatures and peoples.
Yeah,
there's
it's a good
some big
place
head
setting
fuckers.
Scene. Yeah, there's a lot of creatures in this place. There's 3-faced people. There's giant-faced people. There's 2-faced people. There's elephants.
There's mushroom people.
There's a lot of multi-faced people.
Because this whole thing is like a minute long, and they put so much work into like let's have all this variety of people. This shit does
never see them again.
Yeah, it's a lot of care and work put into this.
Yeah, there was so much effort for this singular scene.
So Chiron, I don't know. That guy tells everyone that he knows that they're there to see the Empress, but that she's ill and dying. He says that there might be one chance to save her, a lone warrior of the plains people of Purple Buffalo Hunter can fight the nothing and save everyone.
I like when they say that we're pulled out of the story for Bastion to look at his book bag that has a Native American hunting a buffalo on it, and he repeats, Atreyu.
Yeah, and by the way, Atreyu in the NeverEnding Story immediately looks like a Native American because it's imagination. He's now like, I don't know if you do this, but when I'm reading like a book and like a character's kind of described as another character that's established in my mind, that character just becomes that character for me.
Is that why that turned out that way?
I mean, that's my theory.
I was trying to figure out, like...
Because you see the Native American before you see Atreyu. Like, that's what that whole thing is.
Well, and I was trying to figure out, because that's why the pacing in this is kind of funky, is they pull you out of the story randomly for him to kind of, like, insert himself into the story, which I get is kind of the point, but it does also make the pacing real weird. But that would make sense if that's, like, he's inserting his own thought of what this character is going to look like.
Fun fact, Noah Hathaway, who plays Atreyu, is super fucking pale white IRL BTW.
Is he really?
His name is Noah Hathaway. He's the fucking poster boy for white.
I don't know. It's like, I was thinking it was like a tan, you know?
Like you were saying, like, is he related to Anne Hathaway? If the answer is yes, there's nothing whiter ever.
Yeah, no, that's fair. The fact checker did say the answer is no, though.
Of course not. No, the Hathaway is
I'm gonna send you the best picture of this kid. I was trying to look up him being white, and this is what I found.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh man.
There's other weirder ones, and I don't like it.
Is this Noah Hathaway?
Yeah.
All right, man. There's those are some tight shorts.
There's other ones where the shorts are like...
This is the gayest photo I've ever seen.
Hold on, because
he's wearing like a baby-sized Nike fucking shirt with his midriff.
There's other ones where the shorts seem to be opening, but I think that's like a On I can't tell if that's like a color choice on
Oh
purpose
no.
because
How
it's in
old is he
other
here?
photos. It's terrifying.
We're about to get underage brain poking through here in a second.
Ew.
Fun fact, he and his wife own a tattoo parlor now. That's what he does.
Oh, good for him, I suppose.
I said it's a fun fact.
There are way too many weird photos of him in very strange
I'm
outfits in
moving
his
on. I can
youth.
only move on.
Yeah, please. I'm
So
scared.
Atreyu steps forward, and the speaker's like, "Who are you?" And Atreyu's like, "You called me." Just imagine that. Only Atreyu can help us. And then somebody steps forward. I didn't. Hello, can I help you? So Atreyu is officially tasked with finding the cure for the Empress. The Night Hob is looking
Hold
in
on.
through a...
Before we progress...
If you show me another photo, I will.
No.
Rachel.
No, before we progress to that, my favorite part is that the way that they like present this situation is that they like make fun of him for being young, and he's like, all right, well, fuck you guys then. And they're like, wait, come back. We need somebody to go on this fucking quest and find a cure to save the world. But let me immediately follow that information with, no one can give you any advice except that you can take no weapons, you can have no help, and it is your fault if we all die. Sound good? Sign here.
I think he even makes a joke about like, oh, I'll just go back to hunting buffalo. Fuck off.
Yeah. No, he definitely threatens. I just like that the follow up is literally like the most douchebag fucking like, oh, here's a quest, go fuck yourself.
I have a note here. It says the Night Hob is looking on from a window instead of being present with everyone. Period. Mushroom Man.
What was the Mushroom Man?
Well, because there's a Mushroom Man in the crowd, and this is the first time I'm seeing him, so I take note.
This is the first time I'm seeing him.
So Atreyu agrees, and Chiron gives him a snake medallion called the Orin, which is spelled Auryn. And I was just talking about how I have issues with that lettering.
Yeah, it was real funky. I was watching it with subtitles and was
Orin.
like, there's no fucking way that's what they chose for that.
You watched the same thing I did, because it was a legitimate, legal way to watch it, by the way.
Yes, absolutely.
So the symbol of the Orin, the medallion, is the same symbol on the front of the book. And he's told that he who has the Orin speaks for the Empress. So giving him permission for cop brutality and stuff.
A wild, like, the method of commerce in this land is fucking insane. Because basically what happens is this dude who speaks for the Empress walks out. He's like, hey, she's fallen ill. She can't do shit for you guys. We're all gonna die. The only person that can save us is Atreyu. Atreyu turns out to also be like a 9-year-old boy. And then they mock him for being a child. And then they're like, no. But we still need someone to do this. So come back. But also you can have fucking nothing on your trip. Good luck. And the kid's like, yeah, okay. And they're like, here's the key to the city.
To be fair, though, this is like a fantasy novel, and this shit is prevalent in fantasy novels of like, oh,
I just
child?
don't feel like it's normally readily, like, immediately accepted by the governments of the world. Normally,
I don't know how you could constantly bring up Harry Potter and not fucking equate the two, because Harry Potter is the same thing.
No, but that's the thing. No, constantly in Harry Potter, they're like, this is a child. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. They don't take any of the shit that he says at face value or his capabilities, except unless you're Dumbledore. Then
but
he's
then
like,
they
yeah,
do.
fuck it,
But then
the
they
kid a gun.
do. That's the problem, is they don't, and then they do. Just like here,
No. There's a longer process. This skipped all of the thought process and said, fuck it.
Well, because they don't have anything else. They're like, oh, there's no way you're this guy. Oh, wait. The world is fucking ending. Who cares?
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. The world's ending, like, in a month. So they're like, yeah, all right, cool, good fucking
like
luck.
This is how I handle Reddit comments, is like, I'll begin typing something out on Reddit, and then I go, wait, I don't give a fuck to do this, and then I cancel and close it because I don't actually want to say anything.
Yeah, that's basically what they did.
So we're immediately thrown into the scene of Atreyu riding on his horse, Artax, who is the best horse ever that is immortal, and nothing bad can happen to this horse.
Yeah. Don't look at that horse crosswise. I will beat your ass.
I do feel like this is the movie that kind of set the tone for movies birthing the trope of companion animal dead.
You think so?
I mean, I'm sure that there's older movies before this, but like they're not as, I don't know, traumatizing as this one.
Yeah, this one was really fucked up.
Yeah. So he's riding his horse past, and Teeny Weeny and Rockbiter say Atreyu, and they're like, "Good luck, Atreyu." They never met him, so that's fun.
Yep.
The Rockbiter wasn't in the fucking. He wasn't at the Ivory Tower. What was
Not
his
at all.
plans? Was he
I
like?
don't know. Maybe he just really fell far behind. I don't really know what the fuck happened.
But like, I don't know. What was his plan? He was gonna climb the tower and then fucking like loom over it like fucking King Kong.
Yeah, probably. The fuck else is his option? Like, he has no other options.
Yeah, that's kind of what happens in this movie. Is nobody has options.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. That's pretty much the entire film, is no one has any other option than what they end up doing. So we have the horse montage. It's very majestic. It's very long. We cut away, and elsewhere, this like dark wolf-looking creature called the Gamork begins tracking Atreyu. And then we cut back to Atreyu. Him and
He's
his
napping.
horse are like shit out of luck on their quest after a week. They have found nothing. They don't know what the fuck is going on. Bastion's vibing with the story pretty well because Atreyu goes to snack, and then we flash to a scene of Bastion being like, "Yeah, snack sounds good."
Fuck
Taking
yes, let's crush this Sandy.
one giant bite of a PB&J, and then being like, "No, we have to ration this food for our journey." Which I thought was funny because we never circle back. There are so many things that this film never circles back to, starting with the dad, continuing on with the sandwich, and many other things in between.
I mean, he has more than a sandwich, so
Yeah, he has a sandwich and an apple. Oh, yeah, actually, you know what? We do see him eating the apple later, so that's not
yeah,
true. I lied.
I know you
Um,
did. It's fine.
and then we begin another horse montage. It is not as long-winded as the first one, but
Every scene
there,
is a fucking prog rock album cover. It's so good.
yes,
It's such a mood.
it is a vibe, as the kids would say. But they go looking for this oracle in a mountain swamp to ask for advice on what they need to do to save the planet. And we find out that the swamp likes to eat sad people.
It's called the Swamp of Sadness.
Yeah,
It's known that
shocker.
whoever let the sadness overtake him would sink into the swamp. And so Atreyu and Artax are trudging through the mud when all of a sudden Atreyu finds himself tugging at Artax's reins as he's now stuck in the mud and isn't moving at all. Atreyu doesn't understand what's happening. He's like, "Oh, the mud's just difficult, don't you see?"
Yeah,
And
he's not picking up what the horse is putting down.
Artax is surrendering to sadness, as is the audience.
Yeah, we
Um,
learn that the horse is a depressy spaghetti, and he is going to die.
Yeah, Atreyu begs Artax to fight against the sadness and screams and pulls as he sinks beneath the mud. Fun fact, no horses died during this. There's a rumor there is, but it's bullshit.
Also, I did actually write, it's funny that you mentioned that. I wrote a side note of the horse actor looks deeply fucking disgruntled throughout this entire scene because
Oh, he
clearly like
is.
he was actually being yanked upon. And I put there will be no animals were harmed in the making of this film disclaimers.
So I put down here, Atreyu is super sad about this, but he doesn't sink into the mud.
Yes.
You can't tell me that a horse is sadder than a guy who loses his horse.
Yeah, I don't know what dark things Atrax saw in his life, but Atreyu even
Atrax.
well, that's his name, isn't it?
It's Artax, isn't it?
Artax. Oh, it might be Artax. When I said it, it sounded weird, but I was like, I'm pretty sure that's it.
I remember because it's Atreyu Artax.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because it's a different ART fucking spelling. It's
But
dumb Why would you name your horse character like close to the same name as the main character? That's dumb. Stop it.
my beef with this is that this would have been a great time to show him beginning to sink into the mud because he's sad, but he just keeps trudging through the mud, and then
He keeps
way
on keeping
later
on.
we have a scene of him sad and sinking into the mud, and it just, yeah, it was odd to watch him cry and not even a little bit sink.
Yeah. So he stumbles and falls into the swamp, and he's looking around. He eventually finds the Shell Mountain, which is just a mound in a swamp. He climbs it, looking around for any signs of Morla, the Oracle bitch.
Oh,
No
hold on.
luck.
We skipped a really good scene in
Is it
this
just where
film.
Bastion's crying? Because I don't care.
No, he does cry about the horse, but then we are also taken back out because Atreyu goes, Shell Mountain. And then it flashes out to Bastion acting like he's fucking Sherlock Holmes as he reads this movie, or he reads this book. And just goes like, Morla, when he comes across the Shell Mountain. And it's just like, I don't know. Have you ever read a film that has clear foreshadowing of you're gonna find Morla at Shell Mountain, and then when they find Shell Mountain, you go, Morla, like it's a fucking discovery, as if you had some historical knowledge that you just
Yeah,
connected the
but
dots on.
but Bastion is the audience in this. He's supposed to we're
No,
supposed
I
to kind of have the
know.
same beats. Like
It was
he's the
just kind of funny because they don't do a good job of it.
1984 in Germany. What the fuck do you want?
Look, I don't know.
There's a
Princess
point,
Bride
like,
did
look,
fine, and that was made in the
I'm a
80s.
nit fucking picker, but like, there's a point where you might be like picking too fine a nit.
The nit that I'm picking is that we exited out of the story so many times just for this kid to make. My problem is at the beginning of the movie they do it so often, and then later they do it less often, and it feels more meaningful. And at the beginning they're like, every 5 minutes we will exit back to this child doing a mundane thing, because it gets better later. They just started a little strong. Anyway,
Yeah,
Shell Mountain. Sherlock Holmes over here screams in fear as Atreyu screams. And
yeah. There's a big mountain. The mound itself begins to rise up after he calls out for Morla. He stumbles, falls into the swamp, finds some distance, and climbs a tree for a better look. The mound is actually a giant turtle.
It's a turtle. It's a big
Bastion
little
screams
turtle.
here, and I don't know why.
Yeah, apparently he's scared of turtles. He's turtle phobic.
Well, because you just said like Marla, like he kind of had the feeling, but then like when the mound ended up being a turtle, he's like ah.
Yeah. Well, that's
So
just screaming at a book is so
this
not
part's kind of
something.
important though, because like the mound, the turtle and Atreyu both look around as though they hear a mysterious scream echo through the land. Um,
But
and
then
Bastion,
Bastion also reads that they heard his scream.
yeah, and he's like, it's impossible. There's no way they heard me, which is such a Neil Breen line. Oh my God, we got to do some Neil Breen movies sometime, Rachel.
Fantastic. It can be after this never-ending saga that we're entering into.
So Atreyu shrugs and is like, whatever, and then starts asking if the turtle's Morla, who's like, yep. Morla says that they haven't spoken to anyone in thousands of years and instead just started talking to themselves. And then it does a Jurassic Park sneeze, like a bunch.
Yes, so
Um,
many times. Also, I noted that the turtle seems depressed, so why isn't she sinking into the swamp?
I mean, she did, but I think that she can't sink anymore because she's so big
Oh,
that she
yeah,
just
I
hits
guess that's
the.
fair. Yeah, she hits the bottom
Maybe,
of the
I don't
swamp.
know.
That could be logical.
So Atreyu's all like, all this bad stuff and more bad stuff is happening. And Morla's like, I super don't care.
Yeah, well, my favorite is like, she says something like,
We don't even
we don't
care
even
whether or
care
not we
whether or not we
care,
care. Yeah.
which is my mantra. I'm getting that on my tombstone.
I want to go back and get the direct quote because
It
it
is.
needs to
I
be.
have it.
Oh, it's
It
exactly we don't
We
care.
don't even care whether or not we care.
It's we don't even care whether or not we care.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, write that down. I'll give you a minute. Atreyu threatens Morla, saying, well, the nothing's going to kill them and Morla too. And Morla's all, shit, that's better than nothing. And then continues sneezing because it's allergic to Atreyu. And then
Also,
finally is all like, I actually don't have the answers. I don't know, but you should check out the Southern Oracle. That's like 10,000 miles away. I'm not like paraphrasing. She says it's 10,000 miles away.
yes, she's not trying to exaggerate. She's
Yeah.
just like, it's 10,000 miles. And then my favorite is when he goes, how am I supposed to get there? And she's just like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, she's like, haha,
Guess we're
yes,
all
give
gonna
up.
die.
Back outside, the school bell rings and Bastion snaps back to reality. Oh, there's gravity. He's still at school during the school day, or at least it was. And so apparently he just ditched school, which is a truancy on him.
Well,
Um,
also
and
this
then like,
seems wild because he goes, so like the bell rings and he sneaks back out of this attic to look around. And I don't know if you've ever been in a school before, but like it doesn't clear out fucking instantaneously.
yeah,
It's like he walks downstairs and they're shutting off the fucking lights for the day, like as if
yeah.
it's 5 p.m. and everyone just yeeted out instantly.
But my favorite part too is that Bastion's like, well, this book is too good to go home and read, so I better get locked in this dark, spooky, drafty school during a thunderstorm.
Yep, and not go home. To be fair, his dad sounds not great, so I get it, I guess.
He's probably working late anyway. Again, we never know what is happening with the dad. He
Yeah,
doesn't seem to like call the police or go like, where the fuck's this child?
yeah, we
Child
get
is
all the
gone.
way into tomorrow and never meet the dad again. So I refer back to absentee father.
So yeah, Bastion's like, Trey wouldn't quit now. So he goes back to
Let's keep
reading
reading.
it. A wolf head on a coat rack or something falls down towards Bastion, and Bastion gets scared because it's like Gamork in the book or
Yeah.
something.
Yep.
So Atreyu's trudging through the mud, and he looks like he's 5 days into a music festival.
He looks
he's-
fucked up. He is finally seeking into the swamp though. So I was like, okay, cool. All is lost for him. He's in despair. It makes sense now.
Gamork is closing in on him, and like it's getting close, and apparently all of a sudden the clouds begin to glow golden, and a white dragon
Dogonon.
with quotes swoops in to grab Atreyu and allow him to escape. Practical effects here are weird. They haven't aged well, but at least they're practical.
Yeah, they're not bad.
So
Also, he's a
Atreyu
Dogogon.
awakens. Yes, I'm not there yet. Atreyu awakens, nestled in the dragon fur. This dragon has fur and looks like a dog. Get over it. That's all I gotta say.
He's got the big floppy ears. The weird part is he has scales on
Yeah,
the top of his body and then like big tufts coming out the side. It's a real odd mixture choice.
When I was a child, I always thought that his scales looked like corn on the cob. Because they're not like it doesn't look like
that
scales.
While I was watching it,
right?
It's like
it's just
pale
like I don't.
corn on the cob. It's
Yeah.
opalescent corn on the cob.
It's pretty. It's
Yeah.
like I'm like, oh, the way they made it look like opal is incredible.
Yeah, it's beautiful iridescent.
It's
corn.
fucking weird though.
He's a very odd creature for so many fucking reasons.
Yeah. Atreyu is in this point clean. Like his hair is
that
shampooed.
was also weird. His clothes are clean.
Did the dragon like lick him clean or
I don't know. I have
did it
a
use
lot of
luck magic?
questions about this as well. Because he also, spoiler for 30 fucking seconds from now, he also brought him to like these goblin people that are clearly giving him
They're like
medical
gnomes
attention.
or something, yeah.
So, like, did they wash him in his clothes?
Did they take his clothes off and take
Yeah, I have a lot of
Polaroids?
concerns for this kid based off of the images that exist.
Yeah. The immediate like next line is Falcor being like, "I like children."
Yes, I'm glad that you also picked up on this because I was like, Falcor's
Ugh.
kind of chill, but he does start off with an odd fucking vibe.
Yeah, his name is Falcor. He's a luck dragon, which is a type of dragon that's a dog with fur, dragon, snake, dog.
Yeah.
He
Picture
then
cat dog, but with opalescent corn.
yeah, he then winks at Atreyu and asks him to scratch his ear, which is weird.
Which is, I refer back to, not a great start.
Yep.
Also,
I
if
know
you
the words
watch-
don't match Falcor's mouth.
No, I was about to say, if you watch Falcor talking, the like animatronics or puppetry they did with it don't match whatsoever.
I feel like maybe it's because it was originally in German, or maybe they couldn't. I don't. I have no reason, no excuse, nothing.
Yeah, there's no explanation.
nothing for
it.
you.
He's magical. Let's leave it at that.
He's a luck dragon dog.
I also
So-
at this point noted that in some moments Atreyu's acting is oddly good. When he gets like soft and emotional about stuff, it's pretty decent. And then it is
I mean, he's an
almost-
established actor. He's good. He's
Yeah.
done some stuff.
Well, but in this movie in particular, he spends a lot of time just doing horribly loud yelling, even in scenes that do not
Yeah.
need horribly loud yelling.
Yeah. So Falkor knows that he's going to the Southern Oracle, and Atreyu's all like, "Oh yeah, but it's so far away." And Falkor is like, "Well, 989 miles down, so you're welcome, champ." Literally 9891.
989 miles is wild.
The dragon flew all that.
But it's 10,000 miles.
Calm down. It's
So it's 9,891 miles.
Oh, is it?
I like 989 miles. was wild. We
I
learned
just had to get
numbers
it out.
today.
Then Falkor says, "Things will work out, Atreyu. Never give up, and good luck will find you," he said after Artax drowned to death in literal sadness, so it seems a little tone deaf.
Yeah, and then introduces him to an
That's-
old married goblin couple that just
Yeah.
spends the next 5 minutes beefing.
Yeah, he gestures to the cave. There's gnomes one of them's making potions, the other one's doing scientific work and calls his wife Wench. This is me. Said Wench is making potions for Atreyu. It has gross shit in it and is basically shot glass size for Atreyu. Their names are Engiwook and Earl.
What?
Engiwook?
Angiwook and
Yeah.
Earl.
URL, so it's not
Earl.
Earl. Yeah, these two remind me of like the Miracle Worker and Princess Bride.
Yes, they're just two people rocking that same vibe. Absolutely.
Oh, fact checker said Urgle actually, which makes sense.
That's a little
I probably
better for
spelled
Angiwook.
I probably spelled it wrong the first time as Earl and went
and just rolled
just
with
kept
it.
going. Probably my favorite line in this is "To the winch, wench," and that's
Yes,
fun.
was so good. Yeah, they go to the husband's observatory because he does science, as they say 12 times in
It's a
this scene.
telescope that's just like a fucking plank of
just a
wood
bunch
with
of
crystals
crystals?
sticking out of it.
Yeah, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
So we spy the first of two gates to the Southern Oracle, which is two giant Sphinx statues that you must pass between. We conveniently see a knight passing by who attempts to pass these two Sphinxes. Their eyes open up, shoot lasers, he's dead. So Atreyu's like, "Fuck it, we ball," and then approaches the giant titties.
I'm glad you said that because they spend so much time. So he approaches and then he starts getting scared. And they
I
spend...
have written right here, we get every angle of the enormous Sphinx tits because they made them, so may as well.
Yes. No, they have him walk up and then they spend such a long fucking time panning back and forth between Sphinx titties as this kid tries to gain the courage to cross between the titties.
Yeah, he grabs the Orin around his neck and does a Jedi prayer.
Yep. And yeets.
Bastion and Engiwook yell at Atreyu to be confident and then to run.
Yeah. And then he did run. And
He
they're all
fucking
hyped.
Dark Souls his way through the lasers.
Yeah, he really does. Just hopes for the fucking best.
Yeah, Engiwook is celebrating, and then we immediately cut to Urgle giving Falkor an enema.
Wait, what?
You don't remember this? Like they showed.
No, she was stabbing him in the back with a syringe. Where do you think his asshole is?
Well, it's tell me where the asshole on Electragon is, Rachel. Please find me a diagram. You fucking sanctimonious
Probably
bitch.
not on its corn on the cob's spine.
That's where it is on snakes. Shut up.
No,
So,
it's not. It's just factually not. The goblin man, sorry, the gnome Urgle.
Engiwook says
Wait, is
the
the
magic
guy
mirror
Angiwook?
That's his name.
I thought the girl was Angiwook.
That's Urgle.
My bad. Yeah, he starts explaining how the next gate is gonna kill this child.
Because it's a mirror and it shows your true self. Kind men are really cruel, brave men are really coward, etc., etc. Atreyu is now in a blizzard and happens on a strange-looking mirror, just as we're told. That's just sitting out in the snow.
Yeah.
He approaches it and peers into the mirror, but sees Bastion, who's equally confused.
Yes.
And Bastian immediately throws the book, blaming it and not the obvious gas leaks for the hallucinations.
I like that while that is happening, Atreyu's just like, and moves on.
Yeah. Yeah, this
No
is going
further
too
thought.
far. Then what if they really do know about me in Fantasia?
Yeah. No, this kid goes through friggin' thought processes on this place like it's whiplash.
Yeah, Bastian picks the book back up and then lights some mood candles he just found.
Yes, in this weird ass fucking room, he pulls a PE mat together. He now has like a fucking old woolen blanket that probably has smallpox on it. And then
Probably.
it's not just candles, like he found a little
Yeah, it's like a
little
little science
thing
beaker
for them to
kit.
sit on. Yeah, so he has multi-tiered candles that he is now reading this book by in the middle of a thunderstorm in the attic of a creepy fucking school at night. I'm not going to say it's the middle of the night, but based off of how much of the book he's read, I'm assuming it's pretty fucking late in the evening.
Yeah, it's evening for sure.
Yeah.
Also, there's just matches around.
Yeah. What the fuck
Matches
is
were always
this?
banned in every school I've ever seen ever.
Well,
for
not
always.
in the creepy attic.
I guess not. That's only where the fires will definitely start.
The problem, yeah, you just never saw the creepy attic. That's where they kept all of them.
Atreyu passes through the mirror where everything is in reverse. So he sees the giant titty sphinx statues, but these ones are harmless because Mirror World.
And they're blue and ripply.
And they're blue. They glow blue and they can speak, and they reveal that they are the Southern Oracle and that the cure for the Empress is a new name. Atreyu's like, easy shit, and the statues are like, no one in Fantasia, idiot, stupid, shut up. Some human child outside Fantasia, like maybe some nerd beta cuck kid reading a book at school or something.
My favorite part about this is, what the fuck is Atreyu?
What do you mean?
If he is not a human child, what the fuck
Human
is
child
he?
out of the boundaries of Fantasia, they specifically say.
No, there's a couple times where they just say human child. I'm like, it might not be the
He is a plains people. He's like a plains person. And in the book, he is green, so he technically kind of sort of isn't human.
Okay, I think that's where we're differentiating, is he is supposed to be a green person.
A greenman.
A greenman.
So then the statues just begin to crumble because the nothing is spreading. Atreyu leaves the mirrors and travels to the Empress with Falkor. Like, they just cut to it, which is great.
Yep.
Hurry, Falkor, the nothing's everywhere, which is a wild sentence, and it stuck with me for a while. Falkor opens his mouth and screams as they fly across and land in a dope montage. This is where the reference in Family Guy came from, by the way. I don't know if you picked up on that. Yeah, you're kind of heavy, kid. We're going down.
Yeah! Because he does it so much, too.
Yeah. Bastian looks longingly out the window and says, oh, it's too bad they can't ask me. I'm like real good at names. My mom had a name.
Also, they never fucking say the mom's name.
They do.
No, they don't.
They do. It's Moonchild.
You're fucking kidding me.
I'm super not.
Say it.
They say it when he says Moonchild, because that's his mom's name. That's the whole point.
No, because he doesn't say it in this scene. He says something like, my mom had such a cool name.
Yeah, it was Moonchild. Because he names the Empress Moonchild.
No, hold on. When does he say it,
Jesus Christ.
When? Because does he say it in this scene?
He doesn't say Moonchild in this scene, no. He says it later when he's calling
he says it screaming into the wind.
Yeah.
But they don't caption it at all. So when I was, like, watching it, I couldn't decipher what the fuck he was saying. It just sounded like Atreus again.
No, the subtitles were there. It said Moonchild. Were you just not paying attention again?
No, I swear to God. I swear to God, because I wanted to know what the fuck the mom's name was. So maybe I just missed it somehow. I'm really bad at catching fucking names in movies, apparently.
Well, like, if it's a movie, I have a theory. If it's a really bad movie, you will pay attention to it. But if it's even, like, a little good, like, you'll get bored of it and you just won't. Yeah, you'll just gloss over it.
I have committal issues for middle-of-the-road films. I wrote in this scene, though, I was like, what if her name was something like Barbara? Empress Barbara of the land Fantasia.
I thought I wrote down a fucking funny name, but I guess not.
Empress Karen of the land Fantasia.
Fact checker said Karen was the perfect name.
Empress
I'm the
Margaret.
Empress of the never-ending ivory tower, Karen.
Can we talk about how his
Karen Babipsky.
douchebag business father married a woman named Moonchild?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you think she died at
Moon
Woodstock?
Moonchild was a name that was not commonly used, but like pretty rare. It was a name that was named a couple times or two, or
No,
maybe.
I mean like we're post 60s, 70s, so it would track that she has a child in the
Yes.
80s with the name Moonchild. Oh yeah,
Moonchild.
that's what fact checker just said too. But it's hilarious to me that
Is it Moon and then your middle name is Child, or is it just Moonchild Mildred for your grandmother as your middle name?
Moon Mildred Child.
Related to Julia Childs.
I like that a lot.
So
Moon Mildred
Falcor
Childs.
Falcor and Atreyu come across the nothing, and we get a weird flailing scene.
They get caught in a nothing tornado.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
It
I know
happens
but
multiple
it's just
times.
like there's the
Doesn't make
nothing.
any
It's
sense. Yeah.
it's doing nothing, and that's a
Yeah.
bad thing.
Mhm.
Atreyu's flung from Falcor. The school window blows open, and Bastion goes to shut it. Atreyu wakes up on a beach. He's missing his Aran, which is the necklace. His shirt is hella opened. So some 11-year-old girls are Twitter pated right now. And after seeing all the fucking photos he did, yeah.
Yeah, I'm concerned about this kid. Follow up if he went to therapy.
I mean, he, like I said, he and his girlfriend, I actually don't know, but they opened up a tattoo parlor, so like he's not doing bad. Although I don't know anybody who owns a tattoo parlor doing good. So
he's not doing bad business-wise. It doesn't mean he's stable.
So Falcor is flying around screaming for Atreyu. Atreyu does a sad man pose against a rock, which begins to move. It's the rock biter's foot. It has weird rock toenails.
Really like the sad man pose because that's funny. My favorite fucking part about this scene is that the stone golem is like deep in lamenting. He's staring at his hands going, "Do you see these hands?
He's like, I
They
thought
look
these
like
were big tough hands.
I thought these were strong hands, but they're not strong enough."
It's kind of real though. Like it's I wrote down well, first of all, he says the nothingified teeny weeny and night hob out of his hands. Rockbiter says the nothing is going to be here any minute now. My hands look strong, but they're not, which is kind of sad, but it's not Artak sad, you know.
I don't know. I thought this was a dark fucking scene.
It is. It is. I'm just saying that like the horse was the worst death. Like after that, everything else is like mosquito bites now. Like, damn, that hurts.
I refer back to you don't get to spend enough time with almost any fucking character to develop a relationship with them. So like the fucking snail people and the bat guy only really get like 5 minutes of screen time total. So
I mean, this is
that's a bummer that they died, but the stone golem sitting there repeatedly going, "Do you think these are strong hands?
Yeah,
they're not strong enough." And
there was
haunted.
more of a presence in the book, I'm sure. And this is also during a time because we're still doing it even now. Where like the book is like, we can't do this whole thing. We gotta cut some shit and adapt it better.
Yeah,
we gotta fit this shit.
Yeah, and Fact Checker makes a good point of we don't actually get to see them die, so it's not as meaningful. But I think they did a good job of making the fucking stone golem sound like a haunted war veteran.
It is very subtle, and like despite that it is telling, not showing, like it does work. I watched this interesting video. I'm gonna not talk about this too much because goddamn it's gonna take a while. But he talks about how show don't tell is like the prime thing you should shoot for, but there are occasions, certain circumstances where you can tell and not show, and it fucking works.
Well, and this scene, I think there's a mid-road to that though, because this scene I wouldn't even say is like obviously yes, it is inherently telling you that they died, but they're showing you what that means through his emotional response to it, which is why it was actually kind of a weirdly good scene because it was kind of fucked up of him being distraught that these tiny people he met So it's like, okay, clearly you guys have been traveling together and had a relationship and got to know each other, and then you tried to save them, and it's haunting you. It was a well done scene. I was very
Yeah,
impressed by it.
I agree. Yeah.
It
Like it's not.
gave the
It's
all is lost portion of the film of a good vibe.
D&D party rolls bad. Okay, thanks, fact checker. Uh, so Atreyu just moves on. He runs up towards some ruins where he sees murals foretelling his story and the events and all that just had happened. There's a whole ass painting of the horse drowning, and no one's like, we should try to make this not a thing. Fuck you. He eventually comes across one mural, which is just Gamork coming out of a hole, and then he hears a growl, and then
And it's
Gamork comes out of
in
a
a
hole.
hole. Okay.
Gamork threatens to tear him to pieces and says he's honorable to be his last victim. Atreyu says that he's a great warrior, and Gamork says, well, then fight nothing if you're so good. I wrote that, and I'm sure it's in the movie, but it doesn't make sense to me.
No, it does
Well,
not
then
at
fight
all.
nothing if you're so good.
Also, this demon wolf creature is supposed to be kind of like not the main antagonist, because obviously the nothing is the main problem.
It's the
But
captain of the
he's like,
guard of the evil empire kind of thing.
yeah, well, because he's like, I wouldn't say the nothing is an antagonist, like it just is a thing,
Yeah.
like an event, a phenomena. But this
Well,
is supposed to be the main antagonist who isn't in like 90% of the film, nor is he really referred to as an issue.
yeah,
through
again,
90% of the
I
film.
think that there's more going on in the book. Like this is
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
like for a kid, like this is all a lot of information. As a kid, like you kind of fill in the missing bits. As
Yeah,
an
of
adult,
course.
we like strive to be like, but why? Where is this? What happened to this? Why
No,
isn't this? But as a
we're
child, you're
definitely
like
in the you
A,
have
B,
to
C, done. That's all I
you
got.
have to highly suspend your belief as an adult when you come across films that are like just struggle
Yeah.
busting their way through
Yeah.
shit. I do like that the look of this wolf, he gave me the vibe that he would insult how I make my tea or how I do anything the fuck else in my life. Like he just sort of had like a
What does
sassy.
that mean? He's not a badger. What?
No, he just, when they panned over to his little animatronic's face, he just looks like he would judge you for any fucking life decision that you would make.
I think what they were going for is that he would judge you after he's already ripped your throat out, so irrelevant.
Or yeah, or vice versa. He's gonna judge you and then immediately rip your throat out. I don't care which way it goes. He's just judgmental.
His eyes shift color a lot, and I don't know if
Yes,
it's
they
like
do.
inconsistent effects or intentional, but I think it's real cool.
I was gonna say that too. I don't know if that was on purpose, but it does look neat.
Yeah, and then he talks about needing the kid outside of Fantasia, and Gamork says there's no boundaries in Fantasia, therefore no way of finding someone beyond the boundaries, which gives some like I don't believe in fairies logic as to why the world is crumbling. That
Yeah.
like people stopped believing that means nothing.
People
And
stopped having hopes and dreams in exchange for having despair, and therefore our world is crumbling. Blah.
which I gotta say is a common plot point of a lot of different fantasy things, and I
Yeah.
hate it.
Yeah, like Santa doesn't exist anymore because we all
Like the
stopped
whole
believing.
like I don't believe in fairies, and now they're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's your fault.
Yeah.
Child reading.
How dare you,
You don't
child, grow up
believe
and not
enough.
dream anymore? It's like it's my fault, my problem. Fuck you. Anyway, Gamork says he was sent to kill the only one who could stop the nothing, being Atreyu. Atreyu grabs a rock triangle. I don't know what this is.
Well, he grabs like a.
It looked like a boomerang, but I'm like, no, that's definitely not boomerang.
He grabbed like a pointy-ish being the keyword rock.
It's rock and pointed. That's all we know, and that's good
Yeah.
enough because Gamork jumps at him and then stabs himself because stupid.
It's very anticlimactic, and I refer back to the main antagonist of this film is only in it for like fucking less than 10% of the time.
Yeah, I think the whole thing is that it's supposed to be it's a looming thing. It's constantly chasing you, and therefore you should be scared of it. It's definitely a child fear thing. Like
Yeah, they
Brittany
just
was
don't,
like
like,
afraid of this as a kid.
Yeah, they just don't show him chasing him a lot, except for like one or two scenes.
Yeah,
So
like
it's
for
just like it's not it doesn't feel like a constant looming
yeah,
scene.
because like for an adult, like this isn't a scary antagonist for us, but for a child,
Yeah,
this
no,
is
no, no.
meant
I
to
get
be
what
like
you're saying.
menacing.
I was afraid of the Skeksis in Dark
Yeah,
Crystal.
yeah.
I get it.
Falkor Not this scene. I was afraid of him in the swamp. Yeah, because you see him like running in the swamp. Thank you,
Yeah,
fact checker.
exactly.
Fact checker said that. The Falkor dives into the sea to retrieve the aura necklace while the nothing blows the world away. Atreyu barely hangs on. Falkor swoops down, grabs Atreyu, flies off. Fantasia's just now rocks in space.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
not
just
like paraphrasing. That's
in
exactly what's
literal
happening.
space, as if the Earth exploded and they're flying around.
They're in space. There's stars, by the way. So,
but fantasy, so he can breathe. It's fine. He's
no,
not a
I'm
human.
talking about there are stars, therefore other suns, therefore other galaxies, therefore that nothing is being very judgmental about this one speck.
This one particular area in the universe.
What a dick. Anyway, Atreyu's sad, and then he believes in the Force. I mean, the Orin necklace.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, they see the ivory tower still standing. He's sad, so he's sinking into the space of sadness. Bastion takes a huge bite of an apple in celebration.
Yep.
Chomp, yeah! Bastion whispers the Empress and then gobbles the apple core up. And then Falkor winks at Atreyu as he walks towards the Empress's bedroom. He's so weird.
Too much.
I don't know if it's like it's intentionally like wink, like charming, or if it's just like the weird effect on the eyes. Like they're like, yeah, we try to like move his head and it always like winks one eye. We can't stop it.
I will say in this scene, it
glitch.
Almost looked like it did like a blink where it's like one eye was closing and the other eye was kind of closing, but just never made it. Like it did like like when you awkwardly
like a
blink.
lazy eye wink.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he goes in. We see the Empress. The Empress says, "Why do you look so sad?" Because his horse died because you can't name yourself.
Also, she's like 7, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, this is a great scene because Atreyu walks in and he's like, "Empress, I've failed you." And she goes, "Nah, bitch, you brought the Earthling child with you who's going to save us."
You haven't failed yet because you brought him with you, the Earthling child. Yeah.
And he has a whole monologue where he's tells her, "You fucking knew my horse was gonna die, that I was gonna drown, all this shit was gonna happen just for you to know exactly what the fuck is going on."
But
Rough.
she explains that it's that way because Bastion needed to be there with Atreyu so that Bastion could suffer with Atreyu to get
she
to this
pulls
point.
the classic, "It was the only way. Torturing your life was the only way."
It was the journey, not the destination.
And then she says the movie title.
Bastion is looking very skeptical at this book, is like, the fuck? Then the tower shakes because nothing is happening. I mean, like, sorry, not nothing is happening, but like the nothing is here to happen.
Yes, the nothing is happening.
Erasing, sorry, not erasing, it's nothing everything. But nothing is happening. But I don't mean nothing is happening. I mean,
it's the nothing is happening.
The nothing.
Yeah. The nothing of the nothing is happening.
Empress does say, like, he doesn't realize he's a part of the never-ending story.
Oh, yeah. I also love this because they break the fourth wall, but kind of twice. Because they break the fourth wall from the book to Bastion, talking about him reading it, and then they break the fourth wall talking about how we are watching him read the book.
Just as he's experiencing our story, there are people experiencing his. That's us, Rachel. We're in the movie now.
Oh my God, we're part of it. Quick, yell out your mother's name. Maybe we can save the day.
Yeah, she starts reciting Bastion's full day and the kind of porn he likes. Nah, I'm kidding. Bastion is absolutely creeped out because how can you not be? Bastion's like, what am I doing? Atreyu falls through some nothing cracks. I don't know. The Empress looks to the screen and begs Bastion to call her name. Bastion looks into the camera and says, "I will do what I dream," and he goes up to the attic and shouts out Moonchild. And then I actually wrote down here, was Mom's name Moonchild?
Well, my favorite part about this is before you get to the point where he actually decides to participate, she's calling for his help and he cries back out, "My dad told me I need to stop dreaming. I can't help you."
I glossed over that, but yeah.
Bro, you're in a dark fucking attic reading
My dad told me not to talk to strangers.
School. Like, just say Moonchild and see what happens. You're already invested.
Yeah, like if I were fucking sitting there with like an apple, like just eating it, Moonchild.
Yeah, and it said, "Reader,
Nothing?
please name me." I'd be like, all right, Moonchild. Oh, whoa, it did things. Crazy.
Yeah, suddenly Bastion is in darkness with the Moonchild. And then he's like, is Fantasia gone? She says, yeah, but it'll come back. So this whole plot is because people stopped believing and having hope or some shit, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and now
So,
all of it rests upon his hope.
but no. So what about the guy who had the book? Wasn't he
I don't
reading the
know.
book? Why couldn't he name the fucking Empress?
I also have a follow-up question for you. So, clearly this book mirrors whomever is reading it, right?
Yeah.
So, if you're an adult human being reading it, would Atreyu and the Empress be adults?
Well, I
And
mean,
it
if that's
wouldn't
how
be a
you see
human
them.
child renaming the
I mean,
Empress? Would it just say a human?
I think the book kind of is magical and just writes itself however the way it
Yeah.
fucking wants to.
That's what I mean is I think like if we picked it up, it wouldn't say human child, it would just be a human and they would be adults. That way it mirrors like us.
Maybe, but we'll never know because I'm not German or something.
I'm not German, therefore I cannot fantasy.
So Moonchild gives Bastion the ability to make any wish he wants, as many wishes, encourages him to make a bunch so that Fantasia will come back.
Yeah,
He
she basically
immediately
gives him the power
wishes.
of the Big Bang.
Yeah,
And
he
says, "Good luck,
immediately
bitch."
wishes for his own Falcor montage scene.
Yes! I love that. I put there's an entire world to restore, and his wish was to ride Falcor, which only subsequently restores the land because I'm sure the wish was like ride Falcor through Fantasia or something, which
Yeah,
subsidiarily will recreate the world. But,
he
fuck the responsibility of
yeah.
birthing the world again.
But
Uncle
that's
Ben
what does
hasn't
it. Is
died
she
yet.
says you need to wish and it'll make things come back. And he's like, all
Yes,
right, cool. I'll have an Asian
I'll
girlfriend.
have
I'll
a
have
montage.
I'll have a lightsaber. I'll have Harry Potter magic powers. But I also want to be placed in the Ravencroft house and the Slithering house too, so
And
that I could be a hybrid.
I also want revenge.
But I also like want to wear the sorting hat because like I'm the chosen one and stuff.
Yep.
Anyway, I don't know where I'm going with this. He waves at all the weird creatures during his Falcor montage and sees Atreyu writing Artax. Artax is alive and immortal, and nothing bad can ever happen to him.
Yay! Thank God, because otherwise we'd have to kill the creators of this film.
Falcor asks what Bastion's next wish is, and then he whispers into Falcor's laugh, and Falcor laughs maniacally.
Yes.
Like a
It gets
madman.
real weird because he wishes for fucking revenge
Yeah,
on these
they're
bullies.
teleported. Yeah, they're teleported to the city, and they chase the three bullies, who promptly dive into a dumpster as Falcor laughs like a madman with devil cheese.
Yeah.
Bastion had lots of wishes and eventually returned to the world, but that's another story.
And then the film finally ends.
Technically, that's actually the same book, so it's the same story. Fun fact.
Well, it's
Yeah,
never
The
ending.
NeverEnding Story is the first half of the book.
And it's never ending.
It never ends until the third.
It never ends. Wasn't there a show though?
No.
Ah.
Yeah, so the sequel to this movie, the second movie, NeverEnding Story 2, is just the second half of this book. And we're going to get into that. I wanted to do the NeverEnding Story because, in my opinion, I think it's a fun movie. Maybe it's not a great movie. It's charming. The NeverEnding Story 2 is like close to Highlander 2 in regards to drop of peak of performance. You know?
I'm looking forward to it, honestly.
I think it's one we're gonna have fun with.
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk music. How you music today?
Oh, some weeks I like really prepare to give you a suggestion, and then other weeks I'm like, I know I've saved something, but I can't remember what the fuck it is.
Yeah.
I have been on a Little Sims kick this entire week, but it has also subsequently found me some real good musics.
We'll recommend another song by Little Sims. Is there a Big Sims?
Metaphorically, there's a big
What does that
Sims.
mean?
Do you
Metaphorically.
need the definition of metaphorically, or
I don't. I just
what's the
is a
what's
Big Sims
the issue here?
an intangible character that exists in Little Sims' music?
Big Sims is like an ethereal being that is always with little Sims as
I
like an
mean,
emotional support
I don't think it's
concept.
metaphorically. I just think that's spooky, ghosty.
Figuratively.
Figurative. Yeah, I think that yeah. I think
My
figuratively fits.
song recommendation for the week is The Only One by Danger Mouse and Gemini the Gifted One.
Ooh.
He's a good one. Same sort of vibe era as Little Sims.
Make sure to write that one down.
Yes, I will.
So this week, I wanted to kind of be on theme and recommend something that evokes magic. And you would think that the NeverEnding Story theme song by Lamal would
Be your
suffice.
first pick.
Or perhaps any of the numerous covers by Birthday Massacre, E-Girls, Newfound Glory, Shooter Jennings, DJ AC/DC. The list goes on and on and on. Trust
There's
me.
options.
I looked at the Wikipedia for covers and I'm like, I know there's more, and there are in fact more. But no, I think that's a little too on the nose. So instead, I'm going to recommend something else I think, brings out magic. I am going to recommend Mystery Skulls. And
Mystery Skulls?
Mystery Skulls, yes. They have a song called Magic, which is great and wildly appropriate for this criteria, but I'm actually going to go with Ghosts.
I love when you bring up a different song and then immediately suggest something else.
It's a loophole to recommend more than one song. No, I'm
Yes,
just
it
saying
is.
that, like, there is a song called Magic. That's not what I'm recommending, even though the song is called Magic and the requirements I put for myself is magic.
Magic.
It's a funny thingy, but it is Ghosts. It's magic in the form of audio waves, honestly. I think you should watch the music video. Definitely watch the music video. Not the music video with the priest doing an exorcism. That one sucks. Look for the animated... shut up. Look for the animated music video that has a clear inspiration from Scooby-Doo. I think it's Mystery Ben 247 or some shit. Fact checker will inevitably fucking correct me and post it. But it's very clearly inspired from Scooby-Doo. It's great. Every time you watch it, because I recommend watching it multiple times, you'll notice something different to like add to the lore. It's
I love that.
Rich and great. Ghosts by Mystery Skull.
Fuck yeah. Well, thank you guys for listening. If you liked what you heard or you just fucking hate the NeverEnding Story, please like, subscribe, and download on whatever your most favoriteest podcasting place is. Also, if you want to leave a comment and tell us how you feel, that's helpful. If you want us to talk about a thing, you can email us at whtpah@gmail.com. That's woodpa@gmail.com. You can also find us at woodpa on Blue Sky. I'm not spelling it again. Just hit that little 10-second back button that you got available to you.
Or not.
You can follow us on We Have That Podcast at Home. Feel free to chat with us on any of those things. Send us recommendations.
Keep in mind that I don't check those things, so I'm not. If you message at me, I won't respond.
It'll just be me. It'll
be Rachel pretending to be me and doing a real bad job at it.
Yeah, 110%. That is exactly what it will be. I will be impersonating Gamage and stealing his identity with the fervor of 1,000 turtles. Next week, we'll be tackling the wonderful and beautiful sequel of this never-ending fucking nightmare.
Being the second half of this book.
Yes.
Fun
I'm very
fact,
intrigued.
Spoiler alert, there is a third movie that we will be covering. It's not even about the book at all. It's not the book.
It's just not.
It's completely original, and boy. It also has Jack Black in it, which is funny because we were just talking about him.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Full circle. I've been off my wagon, Rachel.
And I've been off the hooch Gamage, and this has been We Have That Podcast at Home. Thank you very much.
I love you guys. Goodbye.